Welcome everybody to Marvel Contest of Champions. My name is Titus Valspar, and I've been playing this game for just about a year now, and wanted to, I guess I've seen a couple of different videos on YouTube, and had the idea to kind of take a look at some of the different champions that are available for in-game play. And my thoughts were kind of analyze them and show you some of their strengths and weaknesses. Now, for those of you who are new to this game, there's quite a vast array of champions that are available. Like I said, I've been playing for about a year, so I do have a little bit of a larger collection of heroes at my disposal. If we take a look at my profile here, we'll actually see that I have a total of 113 champions. So I'm quite proud of the collection that I have amounted up until this point. And one thing that you will know, I guess we'll just kind of take a look here, also under my profile, is that there are two different styles, I guess. You'll note that my champions, at least in my top 4 that are listed here, champions Groot, Venom, and War Machine, all have silver stars next to their name, while this other character by the name of Joe Fixit has some bronze stars next to his name. And the differences in colors and stars there simply mean that I have pulled these champions in their 4-star tier, the ones that have the silver stars next to them. I've pulled that champion more than once, where the Joe Fixit I've only pulled once out of a 4-star crystal, received him once on the 4-star tier. Which means that if I've pulled them more than once, then they get a couple of additional abilities. And the one that we'll be focusing on today will actually be Venom. Just kind of give him a brief overview of his abilities. Especially those that come available once you have pulled him more than one time from a crystal. So we'll probably go through one of the daily event quests to pick up some catalysts after we actually look at him and analyze him a bit. So let's go ahead and scroll through my champions here and find where he is. There's my Venom. So let's go ahead and take a look at his information here. So I currently have him at a rank 4, which is relatively high. He's also at a level 38 out of 40. I'm still missing a couple of the ISO 8 that I need to get him up to that rank 440. But other than that, he's very strong and one of the better champions that I do have in this game. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of his signature abilities. And you'll find that over here with all of your champions, when you come in and look at just their base stats, it'll talk about their signature ability, and then it'll talk about additional abilities that they just have. Now, as I was kind of talking, the signature ability is one that you get when you pull a champion more than once out of a crystal, while the abilities are things that just kind of happen regardless of having received the champion more than once out of a crystal. So let's go ahead and just kind of take a look at some of these things. So, having pulled Venom more than once, his signature ability has the name of Bloodlust, which means that I guess what it says reading there, that Venom's Bloodlust triggers whenever the opponent bleeds, increasing critical hit rate by 20% damage, increasing the critical hit rate by 20%, and increasing critical damage by 81.3% as long as the enemy continues to bleed. So, one thing that you will see in a fight is that the numbers of damage that's being inflicted upon the opponent will show up every time that you hit them If they appear in white numbers, it's just one of your regular basic or medium attacks. If the numbers show up in yellow, that indicates a critical hit. So what you'll see here is when the enemy is bleeding, we will see more of those yellow numbers pop up, and they will be higher than they would be if the enemy was just was not bleeding, or if the enemy happens to be bleed immune. The other thing that we see, this is his passive ability. So these things will happen regardless of whether or not you have pulled the character more than once. And that is what it's called as genetic memory. So once every 10 seconds, the symbiote, known as Venom, upon its collective hive mind, it calls upon its collective hive mind and grants its host a permanent buff effect from its genetic memory pool. And there is a limit of 5 different effects, which are all listed down here below. So every 10 seconds, you have an ability to gain 9% physical resistance, 9% increased attack, 6% increased armor, 47% increased critical damage, or 17% increased critical rate. And these will continue to stack over the duration of the fight. So if you're up against a particularly strong opponent and you're able to fend them off fairly well, these abilities will just kind of continue to stack. We'll also see that on every attack there is a 7% chance to inflict bleed, which deals 34% of your attack stat, which we'll see over here on the left-hand side in just a moment, over a 5-second time period. And it's during that 5 seconds that your hits will cause that increased damage with the signature ability Bloodlust. Now, this is going to talk about the special attacks, which all have names listed over on the right side of the screen. So in addition to the genetic memory, this symbiote actually has an ability to copy beneficial effects of his opponents in battle. This would be beneficial effects such as armor, regeneration, fury, or other things that will help benefit the opponent in battle. And we'll see that those are there's different percents of being able to duplicate those abilities at the different tier levels of the attack. So after the first attack, you'll see that there is a 45% chance to duplicate those abilities, and at the second attack there's a 75% chance to duplicate those abilities, and with those ones it only allows you to copy one effect. But the third attack gives you a 100% chance to copy 2 abilities. So that is quite an increase there. And then you'll see the different names of those attacks over here. So you have the Constituent Lash, which is just a tertiary arm that Venom will extend, and he will lash out at his opponent 3 different times. You'll see the Constituent Carnage, which is, I know it says 8, but it's really 7 attacks with a tendril-like claw, so you'll see several of those different arms come off of his body and attack his opponent. And then you'll see Hide and Seek, which, and another thing that should be noted if you don't know already, is that the third attack is always unblockable for you and your opponents. So keep that in mind when you're in the middle of a fight. So basically this is a very brutal third attack. I'm not going to go through and explain it just now. because we'll hopefully actually be able to demonstrate it here in just a moment. But those are some of the basics that you do need to know about Venom. At this specific tier, I do have 12,828 health, which is a very high health stat, which means that we're able to take a lot of punishment, a lot of damage. And that attack rating, which is 912. So if there's, with the bleed, that we're able to charge, so 912, and we have a chance of dealing 34% of that damage if the opponent does begin to bleed. That 34% of that damage will be dealt over 5 seconds. So that would come to be about 300 additional damage in bleed over a 5-second period when the opponent does begin to bleed. So there are a couple of different champions that will allow Venom additional strength, which are referred to as synergy bonuses. So if you take on your team champions, the champion SpiderMan, you will gain an additional 6% attack, not only him, but all champions that come along. The symbiote SpiderMan, if he is included in your team that you take on a quest or place in an Alliance War defense, all your champions will gain 5% health. Teammates with Joe Fixit, so if you bring him along, you gain a 5% chance to perfectly block or take no damage when blocking. And if you bring Electro, every champion gains an additional 25% critical damage. And it just so happens that I do have one of every one of these heroes at some tier. So we'll go ahead and we'll jump into a quest and we'll build a perfect Venom synergy to really maximize his effect as a character. For those of you interested, there is a brief bio about the character. For interest of time, I'm not going to go through and read that at this moment. So other than that, we're just going to go ahead and jump into a quest so you can kind of see him in action. We'll jump into this event quest. And you know what? Let's go ahead and jump into the daily tech quest, specifically because Venom will be provided with a class advantage over his opponents. So I've got a team set up here, but we're going to go ahead and change this team. So we're going to pull Venom, and then we'll just kind of scroll along until we find those other champions that we've talked about. So there's a secondary Venom that I have on a lower tier. So one of my characters that got him a synergy was this symbiote SpiderMan. And the next one on the list was Electro. So there's another one. And then there's SpiderMan, which gives me another one. And I don't remember what that last one was. Which was Joe Fixit, that's right. And Joe Fixit's up here at the top. So we'll throw him on there as well. And as you'll see, all of these, some of these other champions also are adding synergy bonuses. So we've got, in addition to all of the other synergy bonuses that we've already talked about, an additional 6% critical rate, another 4% attack, and another 4% perfect block chance, and another 6% additional critical rate, all added and factored in to the ratings of these champions. So we've got a pretty good synergy going there, but mainly we're just going to be using Venom Ideally, we'll be able to get through this entire quest solely using Venom and his abilities. So without much more to say, let's go ahead and jump in and crank out this quest. So these tech quests, they kind of switch out day by day, and or I guess these class quests, they'll switch out every day, and they provide just different catalysts that you need for to level up your heroes. So every day of the week you'll have a different class available in a class quest, and on Sundays they do just kind of a free-for-all event where you can really pick up just about anything. So I won't be able to take this right path, which has the higher ranked champions this time around, as it does require a mutant champion, but we'll go ahead and move down this other line, and then probably move into the basic catalyst quests to get some higher ranked champions that you can see. So another thing that you will note is Venom, being a cosmic champion, does receive a benefit over fighting the tech champs. In this particular instance, I gain additional attack, and he loses some of his attack bonus. So along with the additional health that we'll see factored in from the synergy bonuses, you'll now note that our attack is sitting up at 996 normally, with an additional 357 tacked on. And you can, if you're interested, just kind of see what rank, what level the opponent is, and what other benefits they have. So this will be really, really easy. I may not even get enough built up to use my first special attack, but we'll go ahead and give it a shot. So here we go. And like I suspected, this is going to be just kind of a breeze. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put you on pause here while I finish out this, because it's not going to be super interesting for you to watch. When I get to the boss, that'll probably be a little bit better of a fight, and then we'll just kind of have some more exhibition things with Venom, hopefully show you a little bit more of what he has to offer. Alright, so we're coming up to the final battle in this event quest, and I was kind of doing some thinking as I went through the rest of it. So what I'll actually do is I'll just kind of let the boss, Ultron in this example, kind of beat up on me, so I can show you what his special attacks do, and then we'll just kind of go about things that way. That will also give us some time so you can see the different genetic memory enhancements that pop up. So we will go ahead and just kind of start it, and we'll just, I guess, kind of watch. It's going to be painful for me because I don't like it when champions beat up on me. But for your sake and for the sake of learning and showing you some of these things, I'll go ahead and do it anyway. That, and I should have a big enough health stat that it shouldn't really affect me that much. So as you can see, I've gained some physical resist there, so he's going to do less damage when he does hit me, and as you can see, I've started to bleed there. And now that it's been 10 seconds, I did gain a secondary physical resist. And now I'm going to use this special third attack so you can see exactly what happens. So that's just special third attack. And as you can see, it's been another 10 seconds, so I gained a Fury charge there. And now I've got some armor up going. I wanted to use the second special attack, but we'll just go ahead and use this one. That's not exactly what I was aiming for, but you get the general picture. So as you can see, his genetic memory will just kind of go to build and build and build up as you continue to attack, or as the fight continues to progress, I guess I should say. So we'll just pull some of the rewards here. Some really simple stuff. What I have found with these higher event quests, especially when we go along the easier route like that, they're not as eager to drop some of the catalysts. They'll just give you some of the fragments. But, you know, it's kind of just what comes with the deal. So we'll go ahead and we'll jump into these this other quest, the Daily Proving Grounds, which will give me a little bit more of an ability to show you these other special attacks that Venom is capable of. So this one we will take the higher path here. Again, you'll see that they aren't ranked quite as high as the champs in the other quest, but a lot of them do have their signature abilities. So we'll go ahead and move along down the line here as well. So again, we'll continue to use Venom, and with this one I should be able to at least get off my first special attack. Just kind of show you what that looks like. So right off the bat, I get a physical resist charge. And then there's my special attack. And you're seeing those yellow numbers that pop up. Those signify the critical hits that I'm getting. So some gold and some experience. That's typically what you get out of any quest that you go into. So we'll go ahead and continue on down the line. Our next opponent being Wolverine. And hopefully I'll actually be able to duplicate some of his regenerative abilities, which would be really nice. Depending on how fast his health starts to go down, I may just wait so you can see some of, hopefully, the second special attack. Especially because you'll see that I've got this armor charge. And then I'll just kind of let him pick on me until... And then this is his second special attack. So... and that would have given me the ability to copy his regenerative abilities had he survived, and had I gained that 75% chance of doing so. So moving on down the line, we've found ourselves with Winter Soldier. Again, should be relatively simple. Hopefully, we can actually make him bleed, so you can see some of this increased attack that comes along with the signature ability, Bloodlust. So I start off with some cruelty, which means right off the bat, my critical hits are going to do more damage. You saw one there. And now I've got an armor charge as well, so taking a little less damage is always good. And then you'll see that my critical hits went from there, since he was bleeding. That first critical hit that I got was 621. And that second critical hit while he was bleeding there jumped clear up to 800. And then with the special attack, the critical hit skyrocketed to 1,517. So critical hits do a lot more damage with this signature ability, Bloodlust, that Venom has. So if you're up against a really tough opponent in a story quest that just doesn't want to go down for whatever reason, Venom could very, very easily help out your team quite a bit. So let's go ahead and face off against Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man is one of the characters that you have to be very careful when fighting, because his ability is his spider sense, which allows him to run away from your attacks from time to time. So you've just got to take things a little bit slower or plan on using one of your special attacks. See how you would kind of run away from the different attacks that I'd have there? It's very annoying, but if you take it slowly enough, you should be fine. Especially against these lower level ones. The upper level ones can really be a royal pain from time to time. So moving on down the line, we find ourselves up against Yellow Jacket. I don't want to fight with Joe, so we'll keep going with Venom. We'll do Joe Fix-It at another point in time, I promise. So again, here I start off with a Cruelty, which helps with my critical hit damage. You saw that that one was clear up at 900. There was a 600 that popped in there, a 700. Just all kind of depends on which of the different attacks it was. If it was a strike on a medium attack, or if it was a strike on a basic attack or the special attack. But all of those with increased critical damage due to that increased critical charge ability that came up there. And now we're going to be fighting, I guess, a different Spider-Man, the Miles Morales Spider-Man, who, again, kind of like your regular Spider-Man, you do have to be careful with. The only difference is that this Spider-Man has a set number of charges that he is allowed to evade, but he gains those charges every single time you use a special attack against him. So you'll see that he ran away there and there. So he's down to 3 charges, and then he used another one, so that takes him down to 2 charges. And in case you're wondering, if you do happen to have this character, him using those charges is just kind of a spontaneous thing. You don't get to control it, just like I don't get to control which abilities Venom is given by his symbiotic enhancement. So finishing off this quest here, we'll switch back to Venom one more time. And again, this should be a relatively... I'll show you a heavy attack there. So his heavy attack is just a really big uppercut. I don't tend to use heavy attacks a lot. Those will break through your opponent's blocking, but again, you're left vulnerable while you're trying to do it. So I don't use heavy attacks very often at all. But for the sake of showing it, we went ahead and did it there. So that's kind of the basics on Venom. If you have any other questions or any other things that you do want to know, leave me a comment in the comments below. If there's a specific champion that you would like me to do a rundown of, also let me know in the comments below. Really, I'm just kind of here because I really do enjoy playing this game, and I want to help you get better and maybe learn things myself along the way. So if there's any questions or concerns that you do have, let me know. I don't have every champion that the game does have to offer, but of the ones I do have, I have quite a few and a couple of different tiers. So don't hesitate to ask me to do a video on a specific character, because I wouldn't be opposed at all. So thanks for giving me your time, and I will go ahead and catch you this time next week with whatever champion is suggested or whatever I do receive from my alliance. Oh, by the way, if you have any interest in joining my alliance, go ahead and let me know. We do, I'm not sure if we currently have any openings, but we're always rotating through new players. We are called Total Viking Power, and we do very well. As you can see, that our alliance has a rating of 1,049 currently in war, and we have a rating of 2.6 million. That's just the summed up hero rating of all of the different members in our alliance. We do very well. We're very friendly. So don't hesitate to give us a shout out or send me a friend request in game if you're interested in joining forces with us. We'd be more than happy to have you. Other than that, that's really all that I do have to say. So we'll go ahead and catch you again this time next week. Again, anything that you want to know, let me know in the comments. And I'm pretty good about reading them, so I will be sure to get back to you. Thanks for tuning in. This is Titus Valspar. Enjoy your weekend and have a great day.